viewers and viewers, my name is Propagandist and welcome back to the Propagandist channel. We're doing some more RWBY Volume 7 reactions today, namely reactions to Episode 3, which is just called Ace Operatives. So I think we know immediately what the main subject of this particular episode is going to be. So, yeah, last episode, our team, our friends, our main characters basically were freed from arrest after General Ironwood and Winter realised what was going on. And then we had quite a bit of information, a lot of things to unpack. So General Ironwood has made Penny and, of course, Winter actually aware of the existence of Salem and what's actually going on. So Ironwood seems to have a idea in terms of, well, a plan, at least in his own head, in terms of what he thinks needs to happen. And as I kind of said in the last episode, after I'd watched, after I'd watched the episode, as I said, it's a strange one, and I'm not entirely sure what I think of it just yet. So on the one hand, his plan is, let's just tell the whole world about Salem, so that everyone knows who the real enemy and what the real danger here actually is. And in order to do that, he's planning to basically take Amity Coliseum from Volume 3, where the Vital Festival was being held, and actually turn it into, essentially, what is a kind of, I guess, like a near-orbital communications platform, so that you can kind of link all the kingdoms back together again. And I'm sort of saying, I feel like the logic he's going with is that if you tell everyone, even though it creates panic, or it might create panic, which might draw the Grim, the Atlas military should be able to provide assistance to hold that off. And by telling everyone about Salem, in theory, you will unite humanity together. Because that's the thing, at the end of Volume 3, I remember when Salem was giving her sort of spiel, after all the shit went down at the end of Volume 3, just before it wrapped up. One of the things she said was that, when you have humanity united, they are a formidable foe. So perhaps that's just the logic that Ironwood is going with here. But like I said, I'm not 100% sold on it just yet, because I'm kind of worried about that whole, panic drawing the Grim thing. And if you tell them about Salem, what's going to go on there, what's going to happen. And on top of that, it's also just the concern of, the Atlas military clearly, I think, is meant to be the biggest, most sophisticated military in Remnant. So on that level, sure, it may seem quite powerful, but will it be powerful enough? That's the question, and we don't know. Because I said at the end of the last video that it's that thing of, you may have the best weapons and technology and munitions in the world, but at the end of the day, that stuff is only going to be as good as the people tasked with using it. So it's still very much dependent on kind of the human input to actually use it effectively. And if there's one thing we've seen, certainly in Volume 6 with Caroline Cordovin, not everybody in the Atlas military is necessarily a genius at using weapons to their best effect. So, yeah, I'm a bit sort of unclear on whether this plan is the right one, but we'll see. We'll see how it progresses and how it turns out and what goes on and all that. I mean, the thing is, at the end of, well, not at the end of, but towards the end of Volume 6, one thing that Tyrion actually did say was that if General Ironwood calls on aid from Vacuo, then that could spell a real problem for Salem and her goons. So, maybe there's a logic. Maybe Ironwood is kind of on the right lines in terms of, we need assistance from elsewhere, and so we need to try and get communications back with the other kingdoms. Who knows? It's a tough one, basically, is what I'm trying to say. The only other thing I'm just going to note, of course, at this stage, from what we saw in the last episode, of course, Watts and Tyrion are now in Mantle, which is not good, because Watts clearly, with his technological know-how, is already into the security system and disabling it and causing problems. So, yeah, I'm curious to see more of Watts, though, to be honest. We saw a bit of him in Volume 5, where he was with Cinder and company, trying to talk to Raven and all that, but I wonder if Volume 7 will be the opportunity to see more of him actually in action, and more of Tyrion in action as well, because I'm curious if we'll get a scene, maybe, where Tyrion comes across RWBY again, and they have round 2, Ruby and Crow and Tyrion and all that. So, who knows? Things to potentially be anticipating in this volume, I do think. Right, enough gassing from me, let's actually get to the episode. Right, we're starting then in 3, 2, 1, go. once again, managed to skip through the opening credit sequence. After this episode, we'll be able to watch the opening credit sequence properly.
Alright, gather round. Our mission today is to secure the launch site for the Amity Communications Tower. The designated area is an abandoned dust mine. Since its closure, the Grimm have moved in. The good news is all that untouched dust is still down there too. Science team says they'll need it for the first phase of their launch.
Apologies for the mess, and for holding on to your weapons for so long.
Here he is.
The upgrades you requested were, well, they were more than I anticipated.
Atlas military huntsmen are already hard at work clearing out the surrounding tundra. But Recon has identified a powerful Geist that's managed to evade destruction and take several lives. After we increased our numbers, the Geist was smart enough to retreat into the mine itself, meaning it's old and extremely dangerous.
Okay.
This is our target.
Ah, it's like the one at
should be as requested.
start of Volume 4.
I also took the liberty of reviewing your combat footage from the Vital Festival tournament. There's some additional enhancements I'd like to suggest. But for now, these should serve you well enough.
The mine was
What do we
a
got?
labyrinth back in the day. There's all sorts of tunnels and chambers the guys can move between. So if we're gonna kill this thing, we'll have to split up and corner it.
Ooh. You got your Pyrrha sash there.
General Ironwood says you've seen your fair share of combat. I trust that man with my life. So tomorrow, I'll be trusting you all too.
Hey, Ruby.
Okay. Mission time. Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Whoa, okay. New designs. We're off. So, yeah, we can definitely now watch the opening sequence from this phase, I think. Looking good, though. Damn. Well, at least you've got a jacket now, Blake. So I'm always worried that you're going to freeze to death with just that, like, crop top that she has on, or whatever. Looking geared up.
This is my favorite part.
Yeah, you two, 3 even, 2, 3. Looking quite good as well. John, you've had a new haircut, have you? Oh, he's got like a glider now with a shield. That's pretty awesome.
Ah, perhaps you kids won't get yourselves killed after all.
Well, thanks for the vote of
Meant that
confidence.
as a compliment.
This is Alpha Squad. LZ's clear.
Proceeding on foot. You've all got fancy new scrolls, so don't forget to use them. Keep your eyes and ears open. I want an update if you encounter the target. Alpha out.
Sorry, just not used to the new hair yet. Is it bad? No, it's good. Great, even.
Man, I did not sign up to be a babysitter.
Yeah, well, the rest of us babysit you all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if now is the time to worry about your style. Damn, you grew a... Well, I was about to say you grew a lot of extra hair there, Wise, but actually now that I think about it, I don't know. The ponytail wasn't quite as voluminous last time.
Freezing out here! Without heating or a projected aura, the cold of Solitas can kill you in a matter of hours. I suddenly don't feel as bad about leaving Oscar behind.
Can we talk about that again?
What about it?
We're really not gonna tell Ironwood what happened to Oz? What we learned about Jin? About Salem?
We are. We will. But you saw how things looked when we flew into Atlas.
The General's heart seems to be in the right place, but that doesn't mean we should trust him yet.
We need to play along for a while before we make any major
He's the
decisions.
Tin Man.
Okay.
That's his character, what
How
his
did
character's
Oscar
based
feel
on.
about that?
Probably shouldn't keep running around with an ancient relic on a keychain, you know?
But,
I know you'll keep it safe in Atlas.
Ruby, hiding things from Ironwood. Doesn't that feel like what Ozpin did to us?
Yeah, that is the thing.
Gotta say,
Still not really used to working with other huntsmen in the field.
But you were on a team before, weren't you?
A long time ago. I've just found working alone tends to be for the best.
Well, I think that's a shame.
It's that misfortune.
Alpha here. Give me an update.
The connecting ice tunnels seem clear.
We should be approaching the actual mine any minute now.
Very blue.
This is so exciting! It feels like we're an actual huntsman team! I, like what you did with your outfit, Ren.
We should probably stay focused on the mission.
Now's not the time for flirting.
Okay.
I like your outfit too.
Bravo, checking in. Hit a bit of a snag. There's been a cave-in in the main entrance. Not sure if it's recent or was caused by the original accident. Either way, we'll have to do a little problem solving.
Understood.
Wait a minute.
Let us know if you need anything.
Sorry, wait. Sorry, I just want to pause for a moment. I've just realised something from volume 5, I think it was. Was it from volume 5? Wasn't there a story that Ilya said about a mine cave-in? And that was the thing that... because for a long time, Ilya's character arc was that she was in Atlas, wasn't she? And she tried to hide who she was as a Faunus. But then there was like an incident where there's a mine cave-in, and that was the thing that kind of exposed her identity to her friends, because all her friends were sort of making fun of the Faunus labourers who died, and she just sort of lost her temper. I'm curious, is there a linkage here to that story?
Just realized where we are. This mine was closed after an explosion.
I remember this disaster. Or rather, I remember how furious it made my father. I wish I could take back the years of pain my family has caused the Faunus, and all of my complacency in it.
This society is set up for Faunus to be at the bottom, and humans are willing participants. They benefit from doing nothing to help us, but there are still those who actively abuse us. Anyway, I didn't come over here looking to solve systemic societal issues. Harriet found a gap in the rubble we think one of you could fit through. Ideally, someone with a knack for seeing in the dark?
Oh, of course.
What about you, though? Can't you see in the dark? Wolfman, whatever you are?
All right, Blake. Take a look around. Is there any dust in the immediate area?
Minecarts, debris. No dust, though.
Great, then it should be safe to blast our way through.
Okay, heading back.
Oh, okay, Jesus. Well, there's a geist. Well, that's a useful ability.
Don't let it get away!
What? Back up a bit. Jesus, yeah. Or punch it. Oh, there's a lot of them. How lovely. Little centipede worm things.
Disgusting.
Here we go. I was wondering when we get another combat sequence. Let's see these new upgraded weapons in action. Ooh. Ah, you can put explosive charges in them now. Oh, can she like rotate the head of the scythe now? Oh. There you go. Pretty good, pretty good.
Scared.
Well, that's a nifty little trick you got there, buddy.
This is Bravo. We found the target, but have led deeper into the mine. Engaging sentinels.
Let's pick up the pace!
Contact!
That's another little trick that he's got, and her as well. Damn, they've got some real upgrades going on here. I can see that Ren's guns actually now have recoil on them when they fire.
A very head-first approach.
Yeah, well, that's just kind of our style.
It's alright, she got it. She don't need you.
Your semblance makes you super fast, just like me.
Very cool. Though, based on your reaction time, I'd say I'm a little faster.
This is Alpha. We've engaged the target.
All squads, head towards our position.
Ah, yes, fishing pole. Ooh. Ah, didn't quite get it. Oh no, here we go. It's like the monster in Volume 4 again. At the start of Volume 4, that is. You'll remember the one.
Wait, stop!
Uh-oh. Okay, you're alright. For now.
Darn it. Target escaped. Last seen headed east. Thanks for the call out. That could have been bad.
I wouldn't thank me. My semblance brings misfortune. Sometimes I can't keep it under control.
That's so? Well, hey, don't beat yourself up about it. My semblance is good fortune.
Oh.
Lucky you, huh?
So it cancels... To cancel each other out?
You should be able to cut off the target at the heart of the mine.
Crow, you may have a somebody you could really work with there. If that does indeed function by cancelling each other out, sort of. Oh.
Guys!
Everyone use caution.
This room is highly active with dust energy. Triggering it could ruin the launch site.
And vaporize us. How is that always second with you?
I thought the target was supposed to be in here.
Oh, he's probably about to be here, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Just dropping in, as you do.
It added dust to its body? How are we supposed to...
Get straight in there.
Help!
There's a nifty ability to extend your arms like that.
Marrow!
I need to try and remember what these people's names are. So he's Marrow, Wolfman. Harriet, okay. So we got Marrow, we got Harriet. Right. Obviously we got, well, he's been calling himself Alpha as his code name. I don't know what his real name will be. Oof.
What would you guys do without me?
Animation does just get better and better, doesn't it? Because after these sometimes slightly stilted fight animations of Volume 4 and 5, Volume 6 and so far here, they've really, Rooster Teeth have really just done a heck of a job. There you go, that's how you use that fishing pole. Oof. That was a heck of a punch. Yeah, might want to catch those things. Ooh. Oh, Ruby got it.
I thought you said your semblance was like mine.
It is?
I've seen other speed semblances before. That was different. I think there's more going on than you think.
Wait until she sees what she could do with her eyes.
Maybe don't advertise that openly.
Catch, huh?
No, I'd chalk that one up to talent. Atlas Control, this is Clover. Mission accomplished.
Clover. Okay. Clover, Marrow, Harriet, and then there's two others.
Yeah, thanks for the lift!
No, it's this guy. Are you going to be alright? It's getting dark.
Huh?
Uh-oh, there's villains present. You're screwed, buddy. Just saying right now.
Who are you?
Me.
Well, that's some horror movie shenanigans.
I'm someone just like you. Someone who wants to mix things up around here.
Oh god, they're going to try and cause a revolution in Atlas, aren't they? Jesus. He dead. He's straight up dead. Oh boy. Okay, I have a feeling about what the villains are up to here. Okay, well that's the end of episode 3, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just jump cut here, just to stop the recording of the episode so that I can gather some thoughts and then give some final impressions at the very end. So, 1 second everybody. Alright, so that was an interesting episode. Once again, plenty of stuff to make a note of there. It was interesting to go into a setting that we've actually technically heard referred to before in Ilya's story back in Volume 5 or whenever it was. So that was interesting. But it's also interesting to see some of the character dynamics going on here between not just the Aesops but also amongst Team RWBY and characters, you know, like that as well. So RWBY looks like she's going to have a bit of an inner conflict here over the fact that she's basically had to sort of, for now, perpetuate Ozpin's sort of untruths. Because they're not really sure what to actually tell Ironwood and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But also it's just interesting to see the dynamic as well between the Aesops and the main cast of characters themselves. So Crow and old Alpha, what's called Clover, that was it, I think. You know, they seem to have an interesting dynamic going on in terms of Crow obviously has his negative fortune, whilst this guy, Clover, seems to have positive fortune. So it'd be interesting if their semblances kind of cancel each other out to the point where Crow could actually work very closely with someone for a change. But other interesting dynamics that seem to be at play there. Harriet mentioned to RWBY about her semblance. There's something a bit different about it. So for a long time, RWBY's semblance seems to be just sort of speed, in essence. Now, Yang said maybe it's just something to do with the fact that RWBY has silver eyes, but I'm not sure if necessarily that was what Harriet was referring to, or maybe there is going to be something more to RWBY's semblance. I'm not entirely sure. Depends if I've understood that correctly. So maybe something to watch out for there. But it's certainly very interesting to see the new gear, the new character designs for Team RWBY and Team, well, the remnants of Team Junior there and all that. So they look pretty good, yeah. Look very different as well. God, yeah. I suppose really, you know, that's the case with any sort of series that, you know, if it goes on for enough series, eventually your character designs are going to go through so many evolutions. They're going to look so very different to how they started out and all that. But yeah, it's fascinating stuff right there. And basically my hypothesis at the moment in terms of what the villains are doing, so we saw Tyrion at the end there. I have a feeling that Tyrion, what he's going to try and do is possibly rile up the people of Mantle, and he's going to try and cause discord within Atlas, to the point where there's going to be no unity. And so I guess that's the way that Salem and company are going to try and undermine Ironwood's plan. God, yeah, so we didn't see any Watts there. We haven't even seen Salem yet, though there was, I think, that moment actually at the end of episode 2 where, you know, there was like a shadow going across the ground. So, and of course at the end of volume 6 we had Hazel saying to Mercury and Emerald about, you know, if you want a job done right, to do it yourself and all that, while Salem was sort of summoning Grimm. So is Salem herself going to be in Atlas? That is the question that we have yet to answer. I'm going to sort of draw a line under things there for this episode, so pretty good, and I hope you enjoyed watching my little reaction to it there. Hope you'll join me, of course, for my reaction of episode 4, which I'll try and get around to fairly soon. Other than that, the usual outro stuff, you know, my Strategist channel, link to that can be found down in the description if you're interested in seeing me do various unoriginal gaming videos. Other than that, yeah, we'll sign off now, folks. So, goodbye and see you next time.